3, 2, 1.
This is Chargers Unleashed Podcast. Here are your hosts, Dan Wolkenstein and Jake Hefner.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. Today's show, of course, is being brought to you by UFC Fit and Temecula, Charger Bolt Family, Golden Road Brewery, and MyBookie. Dan? A lot of pent-up frustration that we had to air out earlier this week. I personally don't think that it's all gone as of yet.
Nope.
And if I would say that the mass majority of expectations that I have seen from both you, myself, a lot of Chargers Twitter heading into this matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday, timid to say the least. I don't feel like the confidence is quite there yet, but this is so weird. It's like, if this guy plays, then we're good. If this guy doesn't play, the Chargers have their own situations with players not possibly being available on Sunday. This could just be a very bizarre Sunday night matchup when it's all said and done.
Yes, which I will be at, by the way. Thank you for tuning into Chargers Unleashed, everybody. If you have not already followed or subscribed, you can find us on social media everywhere, as well as YouTube. Make sure to hit those bell notifications. We speak the truth, whether you like it or not on here. Sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's sad. Oftentimes it's both, and that's because it's two of us in a box here. Today...
It's definitely me. I'm definitely the sad one there.
If there were two Chargers emojis, we know which ones we'd be.
Damn right. That's exactly how it would be.
So, look, today we're going over all things Chargers versus the Steelers. Big primetime matchup. Steelers coming into town. Hopefully, we're going to be able to not be overrun by terrible towels. Obviously, we're going to talk about the offense versus defense on both sides, key matchups, injuries, as well as the bold end game predictions. But, Jake, just to kind of kick this one off, injury report. There are folks on this team that may or may not be playing on both sides. Familiar faces. Trey Turner, we get to play up against potentially, although he didn't practice. We don't know what's going to happen with Ben Roethlisberger. We don't know what's going on with Chase Claypool. TJ Watt might not be playing. There's a whole bunch of people. And then on the Chargers side, it's like, who doesn't have COVID? It feels like at times. Like Joey Bosa, close contact. He's not positive, but he has to go through a few different negative tests before he can play. Linval Joseph didn't practice today. So, look, in theory, Drew Tranquill should be back. Nazir Adderley, it sounds like, could be back along with Mike Davis.
Full practice today.
So, and also, I think like Minka Fitzpatrick also isn't practicing. Isn't he on the COVID list too?
He got hit with COVID as well. Not sure what his status is going to be come game time.
And you look at just the overall tenor of this Chargers team. You know, they're not quitting. They know they'll have the whole season in front of them so far. And you heard some pretty colorful language from head coach Brandon Staley, some of the players on this team about like, now it's time to, I'm paraphrasing, but get our ass in gear. And there's some sense of urgency now. And, I think the team is saying and doing all the right things right now. We'll see what happens on Sunday. But how are you feeling about this game overall, other than timid and
nervous? I'm just trying to contain it.
Contain what?
Maybe it was Keenan Allen that said it best today in his press conference. He basically, in so many words, just said that the team has not been executing. They have not been making plays. Mm-hmm. Whatever the practice is, whatever the game plan is. Look, it's, to me, I believe it's more than that. But yeah, execution at the end of the day is not going to matter a lick when it, whatever your game plan is. If you can't go out and execute it properly, it's not going to mean a damn thing. But these are three crucial games. You may not look at it like that when whatever you want to say about the Steelers, them coming off of just a tie against the Detroit Lions. Again, Ben Roethlisberger wasn't playing. The Denver Broncos always play the Chargers tough. I don't care for the fact that Von Miller's not on that team. I don't care who their quarterback is. Drew Lock came back and beat you in a comeback victory last year. And in the Cincinnati Bengals, all you have to say in that regard is Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. These are three crucial games that you need in the AFC conference. And your first one that you're going up against is against a team that has historically gotten the better of you during the times that you guys have matched up, or that both teams have matched up.
Isn't playing.
Dan, didn't the Chargers lose when the Pittsburgh Steelers had Delvin Duck Hodges?
We've lost to Duck Hodges. We've lost to Mason Rudolph, I feel like. We've lost to Michael Vick. We've lost to Roethlisberger. I mean, like, good Lord. Doesn't really matter. It's just if they wear black and gold, apparently they're beating us.
They're good. So it's like, I don't know what to feel about this, Dan. I don't know. I don't know. If there's any time where the Chargers must right the ship, and especially now for the fact that you are no longer in first place in your division, the Kansas City Chiefs have regained that momentum, essentially just went under a rock for the past month and didn't have to do a damn thing and let the rest of the AFC West do their thing, and somehow, pardon me, let me wait. Oh, we're back up on top of the AFC West. Holy shit. So you need this win.
There's a few things that was interesting. Like, normally when you think of like a Steelers game and going up against this team, you think physical. You think they're going to be wrecking everything. You think it's going to be a defensive battle. You think there's probably going to be some havoc, turnovers. It's going to be hard getting yards and touchdowns against this team. And their offense usually is pretty darn good. This year, it's a little different, though. Like, their defense is good, but it's not like typical Pittsburgh Steelers good. Like, I think they rank like 28th in turnover percentages. I think they rank like in the bottom half in rushing yards allowed. Their defense isn't that great. They're not causing interceptions. I think they're like dead last, or maybe I think they're second to last in interceptions in the entire NFL. And so, like, there isn't as much explosiveness from this Steelers defense. And you look at the offense. The offense, honestly, is not very good. Like, every one of their statistics, granted, they're not having their starting quarterback now, but Ben Roethlisberger is not having that good of a season. I think points for, they're like ranked 26th in the league. It's on paper, they're above average, I would say. And again, like, they started off not great, and they rattled off some victories here. Horrible tie against the Lions, by the way. But really, like, it starts and stops with this team with that rookie running back who, look, the guy's a beast. Najee Harris, people can say all they want about questioning if that was the right pickup for them, given what they needed. He's making a lot of people look smart or silly, depending on who you're talking to.
I'll say this about Najee Harris. If the Pittsburgh Steelers will implement the plan that I felt that initially the Minnesota Vikings were going to implement with Dalvin Cook, especially if Linval Joseph doesn't go, especially if Joey Bosa is not able to go on Sunday. After a very good performance by your run defense last week, I wouldn't expect that this time around, I'm sorry to say.
Even with Drew Tranquill. The Chargers are just, it's catching up to them, whether it's COVID, whether it's injuries, whether it's just ill-timed things that are bringing players out. They are starting to feel the effects of it. Dan, we spoke about it on Monday. The depth of this team in not just one, I've said it numerous times about the defensive line. I've said that till my throat hurts. I knew that was there. But you've definitely saw it in the secondary last week. It looks like you're going to get reinforcements back. Thank God for that. But yes, even with Drew Tranquill back, if Linval Joseph and Joey Bosa are not able to go on Sunday,
do 5 Hail Marys in the mirror on Saturday night, pray, do something. I don't know what it is, but it could be a long day on Sunday night.
Yeah, look, we got to stop him. And can we take a second and appreciate how good Linval Joseph has looked so far this season? Like, people talk about, he's over the hump and where he's not going to be able to be that dependable, and we can't expect, like, every week you watch the film and he is just plowing guys back into the pocket. Now, unfortunately, I only have one of him, but still, like, he's a big piece. And if he does not go, that is a huge, huge disadvantage. And again, we talk about matchups. Huge moment, bad timing to not have your interior defensive line like that. And I think we also heard Christian Covington. Wasn't he also on the close contact list as well?
We didn't even mention Jerry Tillery, who did end up testing positive. So
Jerry Tillery, Joey Bosa, Covington, Linval Joseph going up against Najee Harris and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We're talking about 3 of your interior defensive linemen possibly not making this game, and going with Brennan Fehoko. Probably will have to elevate Forrest Merrill from the practice squad, which is just fine with me, because I would love to see more of Forrest Merrill. And then
what's your term for him? What's he called?
Well, he was bowling ball 66, and then I can't remember what number it is that he's wearing now because it's been a minute. But now I've elevated him once he went from the practice squad to the starting roster. Then he became wrecking ball. I think it's like got a 90 number now. But yes,
or wrecking ball.
Wrecking ball, yes. And then you signed Karan Reed. Hello, 2016. It's nice to see you. Karan Reed is back with the Chargers on
Listen to the names we're talking about right now.
This is what we're talking about going into against a smash mouth running team historically in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, my God.
We were already upset with the lack of depth when we had the top guys, and now we're sitting here with those names thinking we have. Okay. Good news. They have either Ben Roethlisberger or Mason Rudolph, who both they don't put the fear of God into anybody, in my opinion. But again, same old thing. The Chargers, I'm not worried about the Steelers, like, out playing us on offense. Like, they're not going to have to do anything crazy to beat us. But, like, are we going to be able to do enough? Like, this is insane. And so, look, their defense scares me far more than their offense does. Although Najee Harris is like the one outlier there. But anytime you go up against the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, it's just, it's going to be a dogfight. And that defense, I mean, say what you will. And if they don't have TJ Watt, that is like Christmas coming in November. I mean, that guy is clearly and obviously the most important piece of that defense. I don't even think it's close. I know people want to talk about Mika Fitzpatrick and Cameron Hayward, but no, it's him. It's not even close. He has more than double the next closest guy when it comes to quarterback hits. Tackles for loss, he has almost double the next closest guy, which is Cameron Hayward both times. Take him away from that defense, and it looks very different. No longer have Melvin Ingram. Like, Minka Fitzpatrick less and TJ Watt less? We could sit here and bitch about how much the interior defensive line is struggling with depth, but you're getting some favors by this Pittsburgh Steelers team, the injury bug right now.
Dan, the same exact argument could be said for Joey Bosa if he is not able to suit up on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of last week against Minnesota and the Baltimore Ravens game, those were the 2 games that I saw the best of Uchenna Nwosu so far this season. If Joey Bosa is not able to go and you're going in there with your starting pass rushers of Chris Rump and Uchenna Nwosu and sprinkle in a little bit of Kyler Fackrell here and there, what are you expecting, Dan? What are you actually expecting? Because whether it's Ben Roethlisberger or Mason Rudolph, and you essentially take away your, depending on how you rank them between Derwin James and Joey Bosa, your first or your second best defensive piece, here. And when the rest of that position group has not been performing or giving him any assistance, that is Christmas come early for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
100%. 100%. Now, look, Kaiser White, Kenneth Murray, potentially Drew Tranquil, Uchenna Nwosu, Fak Roll, Eamon Albagamiga. Like, they've got guys. Like, that's not like that. I would rather have that than I think what the Steelers have. I'll take it. Obviously, you want to have Joey Bosa. I mean, that's a given. But like that crew, the ones I just named, those guys have done pretty well recently. And I think that is kind of like I love the Kaiser White Najee Harris matchup. It's kind of more of a Kaiser White / Kenneth Murray, Najee Harris. I love the two of them keying in on him. I think that's going to be what wins this game or loses.
I like that matchup if Kaiser White is meeting Najee Harris at the line of scrimmage. I don't like that matchup if Najee Harris is meeting Kaiser White 10 yards down the field.
That's fair. That's fair. So, look, we talked a little bit about like the players on both sides. We talked about, they got Najee Harris, got Chase Claypool. Like they're a good team. But honestly, I think some of this, Jake, we have to talk about like the Chargers just have to focus on themselves and being the best version of themselves. I know that sounds cliche, but we have not seen nearly what this team is capable of the last month. And you've heard players talk about it, you heard coaches talk about it, you heard fans talk about it. I think you're seeing a lot of frustrated players and coaches, but I think you're also seeing a little bit of attitude. And there was something that shifted, at least in my perspective, in how the team was handling like those press conferences. There was a little bit of like a chippy desperation vibe that I was getting that I think we have been desperate for. And I think that's like what championship teams need. That's what they're made of. Now, is this a championship team? Who knows? But at least you're starting to see that. Like we know Brandon Staley is bringing intensity. We know he's trying to put people in the right position. But like, is the team's mindset, like, are they hungry enough? I know they're hungry, but like you see, like you gotta have it circumstances. Like, will that come into fruition? That's going to make or break this game. The Chargers have more playmakers than the Steelers do, period. Can they show up and make more plays? That's what's going to cost this game, either for the Chargers or for the Steelers. Keenan Allen is damn good. Mike Williams is a baller. Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert. They got guys everywhere. They just got to show up, and they got to rise. We could talk about all of the injuries and all that kind of stuff. Your stars are there, aside from maybe Joey Bosa. Your stars are there. You got to get the win.
So, Dan, because we talked about it a lot, and obviously Brandon Staley and more specifically Joe Lombardi have been targets come under fire from criticism from Chargers fans as far as their play calling, how they're executing the game plan as it's going forward. Is this the game that they get right? Do you feel that this is the game that Mike Williams gets back on track? Do you think that their play calling, as Brandon Staley has said, be more aggressive? Or more importantly, as Brandon Staley has stated this week, do you think that they'll be able to put themselves in a position to where they can stop the Steelers from taking away the deep shot against the Chargers? Because that's what Brandon Staley said, that they have had downfield plays drawn up, and whether it's been from protections or defensive schemes, that it's kind of been taken away from it. It hasn't, as he says, it hasn't been them not wanting to call the plays.
Yep.
So
on offense?
Yes, I'm talking specifically on offense here. So is this the game? Do you see, we would always like to see and say this every single week, but this is like backs against the wall.
Yep.
Gotta have it. Do you see
this
this as the game where you can get right?
Look, it is hard to bet on the Chargers being able to do that against a Pittsburgh Steelers team. And I know I am usually like the optimist And look, the last couple of weeks have been hard. Hey, now.
I like how you always said that. Usually. It's foregone,
Look,
sir.
Deontay Johnson on offense, Chase Claypool on offense, Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth. Like, they got some guys, but our offense is so much better than that. Like, it's not even close. And the Chargers know this. The Steelers know this. I think, look, if it's me, I'm honestly kind of bullish about this game. And I know it's the Steelers. I know it's prime time. I think this is a get-right game. I do. I would be shocked if the Chargers lay an egg like they did the last few weeks. Like, this is not going to be one of those Ravens game, I promise you. And in terms of like the play calling specifically, that part I don't know because it's hard. Like, the Steelers' defense is ridiculous, and their scheme and pressure doesn't really allow some of those deep shots that people are hoping for because you need to have like containment. You need to be able to actually protect the quarterback, and that's not easy to do when you have blitzers all the time. Now, can they get cute and can they get aggressive other ways? 100%. We talked about this last week, how we're missing that creativity, it seems, not necessarily with the deep shots, but creativity to where it gives you easy plays, easy opportunities to gain yardage, low risk, high reward stuff, pitches, screens, end arounds, RPOs, things that are not easily diagnosable. That, I think, is how this team gets right. I'm looking at Andre Roberts. I think we're going to see something from him this week. Austin Eckler, I think we're going to see things from him that we probably haven't seen before. And watch out for Mike Williams. You remember that? Sorry, I was trapping. Like, I think we're going to see something from Mike Williams to kind of get people off his back. Because, look, we have arguably one of the top wide receiver duos, tandems, and they are without their best safety, in theory. They might be without their best safety and their best edge rusher. That's a recipe for success. And I'm not going to count out Justin Herbert based on everything he's given us. Like, the kid's too good. He's just too good, Jake.
I wouldn't even say that I'm going to count out Justin Herbert either. I think what worries me most, and this is regardless of who the Steelers quarterback is, this is regardless of what pieces they are missing on their defense. And this has been a constant if you look at the last 4 weeks. It's coaching. It's coaching. With the exception of the Eagles game, the more tenured head coaches, big name head coaches, have gotten the better of Brandon Staley. Defensive-minded systems, Baltimore Ravens, obviously the New England Patriots, and now you're going up against Mike Tomlin, who has not had a losing season in his entire coaching tenure.
It's insane.
And has traditionally gotten the better of you. So I don't really care who it is. Again, I mentioned at the top of this broadcast, the Steelers beat the Chargers with Duck Hodges. They can find a way to win this game. So the X factor to me here, and as much confidence as I have in Brandon Staley and drawing up a game plan, what we've seen over these last few weeks has me teetering a little bit to believe that is game plan going to turn into execution? Can you make those situational in-game adjustments? Going into halftime, if you're down again at halftime, what are you going to do? That has me a little bit timid against a coach the caliber of Mike Tomlin. And you heard Brandon Staley in his press conference. He had a lot of praise for the Steelers head coach, a lot of praise and respect for him. So, Dan, that is probably the one thing that, to me, is the biggest advantage that I would give the Steelers right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason Mike Tomlin, in my opinion, I think is still a top 5 coach in the NFL. Like, I think his players play for him harder than most players across the league. It's not going to be easy game by any means, but this tastes like one of those games that Brandon Staley likes to have, like a true test of like the resolve of his team. Is the team as physical as the Pittsburgh Steelers to date? I don't know. If you asked me in the first 5 weeks, I would say, like, honestly, probably. Last 4 weeks, like, it's a big test. And look, it's going to be a primetime game under the lights at night at SoFi. I know this is going to be a big turnout for both fans. The team knows, especially the Chargers, they know how big this game is. Going 6-4 is very different than 5-5, especially given who you're now behind by half a game. You gotta have it. And you can't let trends become bigger trends. So, bold and game predictions, Jake.
Oh, God.
I know. Look, I'll go first because I know you need a minute here because I know this is really hard for you. Bold prediction. 2 receiving touchdowns by Mike Williams and 1 forced fumble by Kenneth Murray. Those are my 2 bold game predictions. I will say final score. Shnikes, I don't want to say this. Final score. I'm going to go with 24-17 Chargers. Escape with the victory, 6-4. Still in the playoffs, by the way. Chargers are still in the playoffs right now, Jake. So I know everybody's all doom gloom, but like, let's chill. 24-17, Chargers pull it out.
Is Joey Bosa playing in that scenario of yours?
Yes.
I figured. If he wasn't, I would.
Before you answer, what's your percentage chance that Joey Bosa plays? How are you feeling?
I mean, each day that passes and that it's a negative test, you have to feel better about it. So what, we're 2 days now with, negative tests for COVID. So what seemed like it was at 0% a couple days ago, now we have to look at it and say, okay, I think we're about at 50%.
You're like, we're at 66.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. Well, you took the one I would have thought the easy grab with Mike Williams getting back on track for the bold prediction. You know what? I will say that this will be another game where the tight ends are the huge factor here. Give me some of that Donald Parham, as he has told us to enunciate, Parham. Give me some Donald Parham. 60 yards and a touchdown for him.
60? Let's go.
I'll say 60 yards and a touchdown for him. Give me Jared Cook. Not as many yards, but he'll also put one in the end zone. So tight ends come back to play in this game. Final score prediction.
Where's my violin?
If you told me that Ben Roethlisberger was playing this game, if you told me that for sure Joey Bosa was playing in this game, is Linval Joseph playing? I don't know.
Brace for it.
Dan, these are 2 teams in reality. Yes, I know that the Chargers need to have it, but so do the Steelers. So do the Steelers in this circumstance.
Gotta have it.
It's a gotta have it game. And normally after seeing a Steelers team play the way that they did against Detroit, regardless of if it was Mason Rudolph, Ben Roethlisberger, whatever, I would probably have no doubt in my mind that the Chargers would be able to get this win. But this is still the Chargers we're talking about here. Dan, I could serve you bacon and eggs for the next week and all of a sudden you'll turn into a vegetarian. For whatever reason, I don't know.
I'm like, that's not happening.
Exactly. But this is the Chargers, and that's something that could happen. It's just weird. I don't know. So, sorry, Dan, but I got to do this time.
Oh, here we go.
I hope I'm wrong.
Me
I
too.
hope I'm wrong because the Chargers need this win desperately. They need to stay in the playoff hunt. They need to give some validity back to the Chargers fan base.
Mm-hmm.
But the Pittsburgh Steelers will take this one 20-17.
No. Jake, what have we done? I don't like this. No, Jake, no. Positive optimism is overriding that. We are not letting this happen. You and me are going to make sure that
I hope I'm wrong. If you told me that there was more of a definitive knowing of who would be playing in this game for both us and the Steelers, I'd probably be able to give you a different prediction, a better outcome. But with all the X factors here and the biggest X factor that I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, I can't do it.
Well, the good news is, for folks who have not seen it on social media, we are doing a pretty sweet event. We're actually collaborating with the director and doing a live show at Golden Road Brewery up in LA. Details are on I believe it's on Facebook as well as on Twitter. The director will be there. Huge shout out to him. I think him and his family are going to be coming down for his first Chargers game ever in person.
You know what? If there is any reason for Joey Bosa to play,
do it for him.
Do it for him, damn it.
Yes.
Do it for him. He's making the trip. Give him something. This is not, Kawhi Leonard on minutes management and choosing not to go. Come on, damn it.
I want Charlie's Angels full throttle. So yeah, come out to Golden Road. Come hang out. We're doing a live show. If you're going to the game, you can go out afterwards. We're going to be driving out there. Doing some tailgate action, seeing Thunder Alley. We will be there at the game. We hope to see you guys there. Bring the energy. This team needs us. We need them. Look, the season has a long way to go. But we gotta all try to pull this one together. Keep optimism at the highest point. We need this victory, Jake. We need this so bad. Seriously, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Look at it this way. By the time that the game is on, a lot of football fans in general should already be inebriated.
Yep.
Going to be at the brewery, so you'll already have taken care of that factor. If the worst should happen, just keep drinking.
You won't need to remember.
Responsibly.
Yes, don't drink and drive. Do not drink and drive. Be smart about it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Chargers Unleashed. We got a big matchup against the Steelers coming up Sunday night, prime time. You've heard our bold and game predictions. You've heard key matchups, as well as preview of what is most important about this game. Now, all we got left is Sunday night football. Let's have some fun. Let's see you at Golden Road. Let's have fun at SoFi. And we'll talk to you soon and next time on Chargers Unleashed.